Hi guys, so today we're talking about becoming a connected educator. So after reading the article about Jerry Fingal, which benefit resonates most with you? I would say attending conferences and ed camps. And then how do you think it could impact your future? I feel like I like the face-to-face more than like networks or chats and stuff like that. And a whole bunch of people coming together, giving ideas, giving feedback, different things like that. Like you sharing your own ideas, people giving you feedback on your ideas, you getting ideas from somebody else. They're talking about their ideas. You learning from other people, good and bad. I feel like this all, as a whole, can help teaching practices just because you're learning so much more. And obviously you can learn so much more in networks and in chats and stuff like that. But I like the one-on-one, or not the one-on-one, but like the face-to-face. And so I feel like I not only focus a lot more, but then I also, I can take notes, I can comprehend, I can get my life together at these conferences. And so I've always been a fan of conferences. If I had to do that for the rest of my life, I would definitely pick conferences. What topics do you think you might need ongoing support? I would definitely say sharing my ideas as a whole, just because I'm never the one that shares my idea first. I can always go off of what somebody says, and I can agree or disagree, and I can go on about why I agree or disagree. But I'm never openly sharing my own ideas unless I physically get asked, if that makes sense. So I'm not the first one who's raising my hand and, first one who's answering, stuff like that. So definitely just getting some support on being able to share my own ideas so I can get that feedback as a whole would be what I would need. The article mentions different tools like Zoom, Teams, Twitter. Which of these tools would you feel most comfortable using? I would say Twitter. I thought about this a lot because I've used all of these and more, obviously. I would say Twitter, and for an educational purpose, just because I'm, in my generation, I've grown up with Twitter and Instagram and flipping through each thing. And so if I had a page like Twitter that just talked about different educators connecting with other educators and different ideas and different feedback, I would definitely feel way more comfortable than doing that on a Teams or a Zoom meeting and stuff like that. Which of these tools would you might think would be challenging? I would say probably Zoom, just because I haven't really used Zoom a lot. I've had maybe 2 Zoom conferences my whole life. So not that I'm uncomfortable using it, but it'd be challenging to integrate that into my routine as an educator, just because I'm not using it that much now. Yeah, so on to part 3. I picked ed camps to research about because I like conferences. I know what conferences are, obviously, but it said conferences and ed camps. And so I never have heard of what an ed camp was until I read this article. So I did some research. And basically an ed camp is like a conference, but it's for educators. So, hundreds of educators can come together, have it an all day. It's basically just a big conference. It's it can be a development session. So it's basically an all day thing where you're going and you're with a whole bunch of other educators. They teach you things, you learn things, you're taking notes, you're, getting feedback, which I love all of. So I'm glad I did some research. Everything I looked at, basically, Digital Promise is a website, and that's basically the organization dedicated to the ed camp model. So it has all the websites that shows you the upcoming events and all that stuff. So you can just go on here and find the next event and where it's at, or the next event near you. And then a whole bunch of educators get there, and you just sit there and talk about educating, which is amazing. So, yeah.